welcome to this recap video. Now, this was going to be a recap video of the Locked Library subscription box for 2024, but I realised the actual subscription for me started in 2023 and I didn't recap that one. So we can't do 2024 without doing 2023, so let's roll back the clock. So 2023 was my first year of getting the Locked Library subscription. I signed up for it in February 2023 and it only took a couple of months to get off the waitlist. That was then. I'm not sure how long the waitlist is at the minute. Now, the Locked Library was the second subscription box I signed up for when I decided that the subscription boxes was something I wanted to look into. I just googled them. Illumicrate, I think, was the first one that came up, and then the Locked Library came up, and now I've found a hell of a lot more and my bank cries. So this is going to be a review of the books the Locked Library offered in the months from when I started the subscription, which was in May, all the way through to December. Now, there will be a rating at the end of each book and a winner's trophy for best dust jacket, best artwork, sprayed edges, etc. Which you can see, sprayed edges here. Now, unlike some of the other recap videos I'm going to be doing, I have searched and searched online, but I think it's because the Locked Library is owned by a specific publisher, being HarperCollins, that I cannot find any detail of who the artist is, who the designers of the covers are, the designers of the sprayed edges, or who did the internal artwork. It's not mentioned on their website, it's not mentioned in the books, and I can't find it on their social media when they promote that particular book for the month. I have scrolled and scrolled and searched and I can't find a thing. So I'm assuming that it is an in-house designer, but there's no names. So, like I said, my subscription started in May 2023, and my first book from the Locked Library was All the Dead Lie Down. The theme was Haunted Summer, and it really does look like a book that should have been in the box for October. But we'll get there eventually. The May book was All the Dead Lie Down by Kyrie Macaulay. I have not yet read it. So this is the cover for it. I can get that looking like that. So I love it. It's so pretty. And so much detail. Now, one thing I don't like about the Locked Library books is they all have a barcode on the back. Why? When it's a special edition subscription box, just don't put the barcode on the back. It is a little thing, but I hate it. Shiny around the edges and just lovely. And the sprayed edges are, of course, blank, and has this on the end of it. So beautiful. With the little moon and bats and twigs and things. Very, very nice. So this is a young adult horror, and the blurb is this. The sleeping house was very much awake. Days after a tragedy leaves 17-year-old Marion Blythe alone in the world, she receives a surprising invitation from Alice Lovelace, an acclaimed horror writer and childhood friend of Marion's mother. Alice offers her a nanny position at Lovelace House, the family's coastal Maine estate. Maine. I know you can't see it right now, but that is a full bookshelf of Stephen King. And Maine's kind of his area. They're stepping into a different area. Marion accepts and soon finds herself minding Alice's peculiar girls. Thea buries her dolls one by one, hosting a series of funerals, while Wren does everything in her power to drive Marion away. Then Alice's eldest daughter returns home unexpectedly. Evie Hallowell is every bit as strange as her younger sisters, and yet Marion is quickly drawn in by Evie's compelling behaviour and ethereal grace. But as Marin settles in, she can't escape the anxiety that shadows her. Dead birds appear in Marin's room. The children's pranks escalate. Something dangerous lurks in the woods. All is not well at Lovelace House, and Marin must unravel its secrets before they consume her. It does sound interesting, but like I said, I haven't read it yet. So if you have read it, let me know what you think down below. But remember, no spoilers in the comments. So, like I said, this is the beautiful cover. I'll have a look on the inside, because they will all be graded. So this is the foiling that came with. So I don't know whether you can see on camera, but the hardback is dark blue and the foiling is light blue. And that is the same type of foliage that's on here as well. It does have the Locked Library spine, all the Locked Library books, the key all lines up, so I think that's a nice touch. And it's nothing on the back. And inside you've got this kind of like Victorian wallpaper. I'm saying Victorian wallpaper and I'm being kind, it's just a generic pattern. And it's the same on the back. So this book has an average rating of 3.7 on Goodreads, so it's got to be a little bit good, right? We are also going to be going through what the resale value of these books is individually. So I was scrolling on eBay, and the resale value of this book in particular, the Locked Library edition, is anywhere between £10 to £15. The box itself costs $25, so you're not going to get your money back by selling this thing. But it is very, very pretty. I might end up selling it, I might not. I do have some books for sale on eBay. I am doing a shameless self-plug. But it's my video on my channel, so of course I'm going to shamelessly self-promote my eBay. And I will link that down below. I do have some books available to buy on there. Some are special editions that I just won't get round to. Some are ones that were just not my thing at all, and some are other ones that either I have multiple copies of or I just wanted to downsize. Now, the Locked Library website for this book, it actually says that it has an exclusive redesign of the normal cover. Now, this is the Locked Library cover. This is the cover that I can find on Goodreads. Can somebody please tell me the difference? Because I'm not seeing it. The only difference I can see is that, you know, like these are a little bit embossed, and I can't really tell from a picture like this whether those are. But if that's the only difference, then really what makes it special is the edges. Now, none of the Locked Library books are signed by any author, but they all do have an author letter bound inside them, which you can't see because of the light. But they don't actually have signatures, and they don't have bookplate signatures, which would come separately either. Or they didn't have the time. I no longer have the subscription in 2025. Now, moving on to June's book. And wow, that's bright. And June's book was, let's see if I can get that focus on there, like, I'll do it like that. June's book was The Library of Broken Worlds by Alea Dawn Johnson. And the theme of this month was Out of This World, which you can probably guess is kind of a sci-fi. But this is the cover for it. I'll do it on an angle because the ring light really doesn't like this kind of cover. That is the cover. I don't know whether you can see it, but there's a few like golden stars bordering this thing. And on the spine and the back, which you really can't see, and it does have the dreaded barcode. The edges there, block colour, and then stars on there. On the back there is a quote that says, "Stories ought to explain themselves," he says. She shakes a finger. "What about all the mystery, Namaran? All the mystery that is the beating heart of every kind of story." The hardcover is this. A lot better than what the dust jacket offers. Although it is the same sort of art. It is a black hardcover with gold foiling. So pretty. With the regular Lock Library spine on the back and nothing here. And inside, nothing. And nothing. There is a whole lot of nothing because there is no artwork on the end pages, which is very, very rare for a special edition book, not even to have colour or any artwork on here. So this is a young adult fantasy / science fiction, and this is the blurb for it. In the winding underground tunnels of the library, the great celestial peacekeeper of the three systems, a terrible secret lies buried. As the daughter of a library god, Frida has spent her whole life exploring the library's ever-changing tunnels and communing with the gods. Her unparalleled access makes her unique and dangerous. When Frida meets Joshua, a mortal boy desperate to save his people, and Nergwai, a disciple from a persecuted religious minority, Frida is compelled to break ranks with the gods and help them. But in order to do so, she will have to venture deeper into the library than she has ever known. There, she will discover the atrocities of the past, the truth of her origins, and the impossibility of her future. With the world at the brink of war, Frida embarks on a journey to fulfill her destiny, one that pits her against an ancient war god. Her mission is straightforward: destroy the god before he can rain hellfire upon thousands of innocent lives, if he doesn't destroy her first. A girl matches wits with a war god in this kaleidoscopic epic tale of oppression and the cost of peace, where stories hide within other stories and narrative has the power to heal or to burn everything in its path. So this has an average rating of 3.1 on Goodreads, so it's more or less in the middle. And this actually does have a designer for this book, and I only know that because it says so on the title page, where you can't see because the light doesn't want to play on here. And it just says that the book design was by Stephanie Yang. Now, I think all books should have whoever designed the covers be listed on the inside on that thing, but most of them don't. I just think it should be a thing to do. Now this, again, as it is a locked library, it does have the signed author letter, but not an actual, signature. And this particular version of this book is selling on eBay from anywhere from £30 to £50. No idea why. The box was only £25. Must be the pretty edges. I was going to say, oh yeah. The cover is different to the normal cover, which is up here, which I found on Goodreads, which is this one. And I don't know which one I actually prefer, because this cover seems to be a whole lot busy of nothing. I don't like the cover. The title's so big, and here we've got praise for the book. Why is that on the front cover? And this little bit of artwork down here, which is a copy of what's on there, and award-winning author name. I just think it's too busy with the wrong things for it to... So if I saw this on a shelf or, on a table saying Waterstones, would I pick it up? Yeah, I'd pick it up to have a look. Would I buy it based on the cover alone? Probably not. Now, July's theme was Powerful Princess, and that's where we get this. And Break the Pretty Kings by Lena Jung. I hope I said that right, but I probably didn't. And this cover is just so pretty. It is so beautiful. She looks so badass. And the quote on the back is, "Never forget the dragons in your blood," and the dreaded barcode on the bottom. But without the barcode, it's very, very nice. Now the edges are block colour, and then this like orange swirly, and supposedly it's like I suppose it's supposed to be flame-like and smoke and like her magic, I'm assuming, that's coming out of here. But yeah, it's very badass. Now this is the author's debut novel. It must be so good for an author to have their debut novel end up in a subscription box and get the special edition treatment. I love that for the author. So this is the interior artwork. It's shock horror, it's a dragon. I think it's kind of generic that just because a book has an Asian type story, that a dragon is always the thing to go to. I know that the China and the dragon, and it's all, you know, like their mythos, but it's not all that there is. I'm certain that it's not all that there is over there. But it's a dragon. It's gold foiling on a dark red cover, the normal Lock Library spine, and just blank on the back. Now inside we actually have artwork and shock horror. A dragon again. And it does have the same artwork on the back. This is another young adult fantasy. The Lock Library, one of my gripes with them is they love the young adult books, which I didn't realise at the time. So this is the blurb. Mireille is the crown princess of the kingdom of Seolla, heir apparent to the magic that blesses women in her bloodline. With the nation on the edge of war and Mireille's mother dying of a mysterious wasting sickness that makes her magic deadly and unpredictable, Mireille is hurried through her magical initiation, ready to take her mother's place. But something goes wrong before Mireille can inherit the throne. Flames and death and a monster even the gods fear are unleashed, and Mireille's beloved brother is kidnapped. The only power at her disposal is an incredibly volatile one, the ability to switch with herself in time. Now that's interesting. Armed with the clues her future self can give her and the promise to change nothing in the past, she sets out on a journey through a mythical land of chilling creatures and vindictive enemies to save her brother and stop a war thousands of years in the making. Beautiful and nightmarish, this fantasy debut, inspired by the historical Three Kingdoms of Korea, follows a crown princess's journey to understand her dark powers and save her realm. Ooh, it does sound pretty interesting. And it has an average rating at the time of this video of 3.2 on Goodreads, which I'm willing to give it a try. Now, one of my main things for this year is to read the books of yesteryear, which helps because I don't have the subscription anymore. But I do love this cut. I love the gold foiling on the flowers. I love the subtlety. I just love everything about it. And I wish I knew who the artist was. This edition does have kind of a different cover, but not really. That's why I say it's... So this is the normal cover of it on Goodreads. And this is why I say it's probably an artist from in the publishing house. Because these are exactly the same except for the colours used. So this one, it uses red, whereas this one uses blue. That's all I can see, and it has the gold foiling and the gold embossing title of it. That's the only difference that I can see between those two of them. Now this, like I said, the Lock Library box is £25, and on eBay currently this edition is selling from anywhere from £15, which is reasonable, to £80. And that is one hell of a window. So some of the prices of these are just astronomically way too high. If you want a pretty special edition, eBay is the one to look for. But buyer beware. There are some scammers out there, especially with subscription box books. Now, the August theme was Happily Never After. So I already knew it was going to be a fairy tale retelling of some sort. But the book for August was The Kingdom is a Golden Cage by Lily Inkwood. I'm not enamoured by the cover, simply because it's got this distressed look, and it is supposed to look distressed. I just don't like it. But that is the front cover. So you've got the distressed title just taking up most of this, and roses, and I don't know whether you can see that or not, but it does have a golden cage here. It's got the same distressed on the back, on the spine, and a cage again, but that doesn't, so it is quite cut off. And the back has the best back artwork, because most of them don't bother. But again, it's a golden cage with roses and the dreaded barcode. So on the back it says, "I know you, my dove, how you bottle it all in. And when you erupt, it's the power of the sea, unleashing, wiping it all away. Be the sea, Celine, remember who you are." This is a fairy tale, but not as you know it. I read a lot of fairy tales. If you haven't, check out my other content. We do the deep dives into the originals. So the hardcover artwork is the red hardback with a golden foiling. I do like the cage, but the cage is it's everywhere with the standard Lock Library spine, and again a whole lot of nothing here. I think the cage is overused. And we have block colour, and then roses down the sprayed edge. I really do think they are really, really very pretty. With the amount of cage that's on the cover, they could have put a rose here, or like just, I don't get it. The bird cage is a lot, but the sprayed edges, beautiful, beautiful. Inside, it has nothing. Again, although at least this one has colour, and nothing there either. So, like I said, this is a young adult, shocking, I know, fantasy fairy tale retelling. And it has an average rating of 2.7 on Goodreads, so it doesn't fill me full of hope. I have seen ratings bashing this thing, so it doesn't fill me full of hope to start it, but let's look at the blurb. Once upon a time, there was a princess locked in a tower, forced to bend to her father's will. But Celine is no ordinary princess, and she has no intention of being a damsel in distress. Celine has a lover, Hugo, whose cunning plan to rescue her is tied up in his own ambition to reclaim the lands and title that are his birthright. If only they can break the spell that binds him to the body of a cat, they will free the kingdom from the grasp of a cruel witch and live happily ever after. I'm making this face and I'm only reading the blurb of it. For the plan to succeed, they must rely on Hugo's cousin Philippe, to whom Celine must tether herself until Hugo can reclaim his birthright. It's a risk to trust him, but it soon becomes clear that this is the least of their problems, because this is a land of shapeshifters, magic and illusion, where nothing is as it seems, even the truth. I don't know what to think of it. It seems a bit far-fetched, but also a bit silly. If you've read this, let me know down there. If you've liked this, but you can find this special edition with the beautiful sprayed edges on eBay for around £20 to £40, which is the average kind of window. But I don't like the cover. Love the edges, hate the cover. Now, September's theme was back to school.
Groundbreaking.
And the book for September was Every Exquisite Thing by Laura Stephen. Now, the cover is quite dark. Not like dark in like a gothic sense, but dark as in very muted. So, like, you've got things that you can hardly see up here. The only difference between this cover And this one, which is the normal cover, is this golden border around the edge. That doesn't make this one particularly special. But it has the spine, and it has on the back a quote that says, "Girls don't want beauty, girls want power." And the dreaded barcode. And somebody calls it a modern gothic gem. We shall see. Eventually. But this is a oh, I forgot the edges. So the edges have a block colour, and I don't know whether you can see it, but it's like quite like a weird patterny thing of more of these flowers. Now the naked hardback is black with gold foiling. Now it looks like a stamp. To me it just looks like a stamp or a picture frame. The picture frame thing is probably what they were going for. To me it looks like a fancy stamp. And it's just gold with lots of flowers, got the standard Lock Library spine down here, and a whole lot of nothing on the back. Oh, we actually have some interior artwork, before I put the dust jacket back on, just of flowers. And it's the same on the back. So this is a YA fantasy, and this is the blurb. Penny Paxton. The daughter of a beloved icon will do anything to continue her mother's legacy, including enrolling at the elite and cutthroat Dorian Drama Academy. It's a retelling of the portrait of Dorian Gray. You know, some things just shouldn't be touched. When Penny's new mentor offers her the chance to have a portrait painted by a mysterious artist who promises immortal beauty to all his subjects, Penny jumps at the chance to join Dorian's most glittering alumni, knowing that stardom will soon be hers. But then her mentor is found murdered, her portrait violently slashed, and as the bodies pile up, Penny realises she's made a terrible mistake. A seductive and searing exploration of beauty, identity, and what the pursuit of perfection can truly cost. Now, I'm rolling my eyes, but it does have an average rating of 3.8 on Goodreads, which is better than some of them. The premise doesn't fill me full of hope. The cover's alright, it's a bit dark and, you know, a bit dull. And the edges don't fill me full of wonder. And to be honest, there is absolutely nothing special about the cover apart from the foiling, because this is the normal cover. For a special edition, it's not that special. But it is reselling, this edition, reselling on eBay from anywhere from £20 to £40. It's not that bad if you want to buy a very special edition, especially if you enjoyed this book and you know what it is going into it. Like I said, I haven't read any of these yet, but I will be doing this year. I am determined to get my TBR subscription book pile down. So next up we have the spooky month, being October, and the theme for this month was Spellbound. And the offering for this month is The Book of Witches, collected by Jonathan Strahan. But I love the cover of this. It's very sort of old-timey, like sort of witchy. And it does, I think the only bit of foiling is the sort of coppery book title, and there's, I don't know whether the light will actually pick it up, there's like coppery foiling little stars all in the sky around there. And on the back it has the list that you can't see because of the light. It has the list of authors that are featured in this collection, because this is the only book to date from the Lock Library which is actually a short story collection. And it has the block orange on the back and front, and a broomstick, which is ever so pretty. Now, I don't know whether the light will actually pick this up, but this is a very dark orange colour, with the black broomstick on the back, with a black broomstick on it. It looks very, very good, and I don't think the camera's doing it justice from what I can see. But yeah, this is the only collection the Locked Library have done. The rest of them are just novels. And it is also the first adult book of the year that is not a young adult book. It is adult fantasy / horror. Finally. If it had to be one, if one of them had to be an adult, it might as well have been October. And this is the foiling. So we have the black cover, but with the orange, coppery moon, clouds, star. That is a hell of a lot of stars. It could have been up a bit, but yeah. And the standard Locked Library spine, and the standard nothing on the back. I do like this. And inside there is just block colour and block colour again. Let's get into the blurb. A pinch of fairy tale, a measure of myth, a dash of lore, a hint of horror. Add twig of broom and hair of cat, a hint of magic, the wing of bat. Then brew beneath the darkest moon, so witches will be with you soon. That's quite sweet. In this spellbinding short story collection, award-winning editor Jonathan Strahan brings together tales both enchanting and terrifying by modern masters, debatable, and emerging voices of science fiction and fantasy. Featuring the illustrations of Alyssa Winans and witches wicked, good, and everything in between, this anthology is sure to cast a spell on you. Haven't read it yet, so I am not spellbound. But inside, you've got like little arty worky pictures, which is probably why the artist was credited on the blurb and not just ignored completely like in most special editions. But this has an average rating of 3.4 on Goodreads, so it's quite a mixed bag, which you would assume with it being a horror collection. Collections usually hang around the number 3 number, just because you're not going to like every story in a short story collection. Now this is on eBay, but make sure it is the special edition and not the normal one. There is normal editions with this kind of cover, but usually the cover I'm finding is this one, which you can tell is completely different. Finally, we have a cover which is completely different to the normal one, and I do prefer this cover. But this is on eBay from anywhere from £30 to £50. If you're buying these subscription boxes for just to buy them to resell, I don't recommend it, because unless the book goes viral, like When the Moon Hatched, you're not going to make any money at this. Unless it goes viral, you haven't got hope in hell of making your money back. And let's face it, people are skint. Money is tight. It's not going to happen. Don't worry, I know you're falling asleep. Don't fall asleep yet, because we are into November. We're nearly there. And November's theme was Love Resurrected. And this month's offering was The Gilded Crown by Marianne Gordon. And I do like the cover. And this is a debut adult fantasy novel. It better be adult. Just don't market something that says it's an adult when it really, really isn't. I don't like it. I love this cover. I love the dark red. I love the blood. I love the roses here. Everything about it I like. So you've got the 2 crowns which mirror each other. You've got the roses, but they're in some sort of liquid blood. And then down here, the roses are not in liquid blood. It doesn't have any foil. It's the first, I think it's the first one that doesn't have any foiling on the cover at all. I might be misremembering and my memory is shot to shit. But it's the first one that doesn't have, it's embossed instead. And that is the spine. Again, no foiling, but there is a little embossed crown. And on the back is very busy, as you can see. So we've got the roses with the blood and the roses with the dreaded barcode. The dreaded barcode. And it says on the back, which looks like a quote from the book, He was standing at the head of the bridge, leaning against the wall. The light bowed around him, stooped before him. The light bowed around him, stooped before him. It made her eyes hurt to look his way. That doesn't read right to me. Am I the only one that doesn't read right? He still wore the heavy winter coat which bled into the darkness, the dark gloves. He was exactly as she remembered him. "Do you know why I'm here?" she asked. Her voice was high. He laughed, a short, sharp exhalation. He laughed, a short, sharp exhalation of breath which made her flinch, and looked out over the grey fields. She felt her cheeks heat. "Do you?" she demanded. She didn't like to be laughed at. "Yes," he replied slowly, "I do. Of all the pages in this book," that was what they chose to put on the back. "It doesn't fill me full of confidence." But I might be judging a little bit too harshly. But for the edges, we've got black, block colour, and on here we've got not roses, which is on the front cover, but ferns and crowns. It probably makes sense in the story. I hope it makes sense in the story, but I'm not loving the sprayed edges. Now the foiling on the cover is a bit, you've got all this space and you want to shrink it down to, just, I have little tiny hands and it practically covers it. But it, again, with the ferns and the crown, there's nothing else in here to use. The standard Lock Library spine and nothing on the back. Although inside we do have some artwork. It is ferns and crowns! Who'd have guessed? Me. I'd have guessed. I did guess. And again, ferns and crowns! Shocker. Now I won't be too harsh about it because it is a debut novel. And for a debut to be in a subscription box, as I said earlier, it's a hell of an achievement for the author in question. But like I said, this was adult fantasy. It didn't read like adult on the back, so it gives me a little bit of misgivings. But let's have a look at the blurb. Oh, it's book number 1 in the Raven's Trade series. First in a series. I think all the other ones have been standalones. The first time Helivere visited death, she was 10 years old. Since she was a little girl, Helivere has been able to raise the dead. Every creature can be saved for a price demanded by the shrouded figure who rules the afterlife, who takes a little more from Helivere with each soul she resurrects. Such a gift can rarely remain a secret. When Princess Sulivain, sole heir to the kingdom's throne, is assassinated, the Queen summons Helivere to demand she bring her granddaughter back to life. But once is not enough. The killers might strike again. The princess's death would cause a civil war, so the Queen commands that Helivere remain by her side. But Sulivain is no easy woman to be bound to. Even as Helivere begins to fall in love with her, with the threat of war looming, Helivere must trade more and more of herself to keep the princess alive. And death will always take what he is owed. The blurb doesn't read like adult fantasy. It reads like YA. So if it has been mismarketed, I will find out once I've read it. And boy, will I be annoyed. I don't like when books mismarket something because they do it on purpose. There's no such thing as mismarketing something. They do it on purpose and it annoys me, as it's annoying me now just by the sheer mention of it. But this does have an average rating on Goodreads of 3.6, so it can't be that bad, right? Fingers crossed. I will get to it this year. The artwork on the front, I like it. I like the red, dark red, but this is the normal cover. As you can see on the normal cover, it has these green leaves under the roses and crown. So you really have to squint to see any green on here. And of course it's on a black background, so all the colours are going to pop anyway. but I do like the blood red colour. But there isn't that much difference apart from the colour for these two covers. So it's not the cover's not particularly that special or unique. But according to eBay, that is not the case. Because this book is an anomaly, selling from anywhere from £15 all the way up to £70. I don't understand some of the pricing sometimes, and I don't understand why people pay exorbitant amounts for books like this. Now we are on to the last month of the year, and it is the Christmas month of December. And the theme this month was Taming the Wolf. And the offering up was A River of Golden Bones by A.K. Mulford. And the light is not going to like this one, but it is gold foiling everywhere. You can hear my dog barking. But it is gold foiling absolutely everywhere on here. It's very, very busy. It's a very, very busy cover. Although it looks busier just because the foiling is distressed. And that is the spine with more distressed foiling on it. And this is the back with no foiling, but it is book 1 in the Golden Court series. And it does have the shield, the dreaded barcode. And what it says on the back is, "When we get to Highwick, you'll never again have to whisper about what you are," he promised. The sincerity in his voice made me press my lips together. "You can be proud to be a wolf." Oh God, I've read so many Wattpad stories of Alpha this and Alpha. I just swear to God, if it's a Wattpad story in hardback form, I'm going to be so pissed. But this is the foiling on the book, and as you can see, it uses every inch of this cover. It is a bright red cover with gold foiling, and of course it has a wolf's head, because how can you not overuse something that's... And it does have the standard Lot Library spine and the standard Lot Library nothing on the back, with block colour edges and sprayed edge. I'm not so keen on the whole yellow and red thing. I think those colours don't go together to my eye as much as any other colour. The whole yellow, orange, red, I don't like it when it's in all bright colours like this and with a black wolf in the bits. It's very, very busy. It's very, very nice. It's not my favourite. And inside, hell of a lot of nothing except colour. But at this point I expected it. But this is classed as a romantasy, which it probably is correct. And this is the blurb for it. A sleeping curse, a fallen court, a secret twin. Twins Calla and Briar have spent their entire lives hiding from the powerful sorceress who destroyed their kingdom, and from the humans who don't know they are wolves. Each twin has their own purpose in life. Briar's is to marry the prince of an ally pack and save the Golden Court. Calla's purpose is to remain a secret, her twin's shadow the backup plan. No one knows who Calla truly is except for her childhood friend, and sister's betrothed, the distractingly handsome Prince Grey. If you're going to have somebody be morally grey, you might as well call them that as well. But when Calla and Briar journey out of hiding for Briar's wedding, all of their well-made plans go awry. The evil sorceress is back with another sleeping curse for the last heir to the Golden Court. Calla must step out of the shadows to save her sister, her kingdom, and her own legacy. Continuing to hide as a human and denying who she truly is, Calla embarks on a quest across the realm, discovering a whole world she never knew existed. Outside the confines of rigid wolf society, Calla begins to wonder, who could she be if she dared to try? It does read like it would be a Wattpad book with the whole wolf society hiding as humans sort of in plain sight, but not. I hope it isn't. When I get to it, you'll soon find out as soon as I do a video on it, because I will be annoyed. But it does have an average rating of 3.6 on Goodreads, so I would assume it's quite up there. A lot of people liked it. The cover is very, very busy, and it is very sort of Christmassy. I think I when I did a picture of this, when I got the box, I put it next to my Christmas tree. It is a very, very busy picture, as you can see. But again, this book is reselling on eBay from anywhere from £15 to £70. They're just... it boggles the mind. Now, we are entering our ranking. So, I keep saying that you can buy these on eBay. I know for other subscription boxes, they have a place on their website where you can buy stock which is left over, or new existing special editions that aren't part of the book box. The Locked Library does not have that option. You either get it in the box, or you get it on eBay. Them's your choices, nothing else. So we are going for our ranking, and of the books that I have shown you today, what do you think is the worst dust jacket? For me, the worst one is this one, The Library Between Worlds, because on the front cover there is a whole lot of nothing. It's white, it's gold on white, which, unless you're looking at it, it doesn't pop. The only thing that pops is this down here, and it is squished into this, like, an inch, maybe. Too many men have lied to me about what an inch is, so I'm not quite sure. But the title takes up this much, and you really do not need praise for the book that you're going to read on the front cover. I hate it enough when it's on the back, but on the front cover, I hate it even more. And I just think it's not really popping for me. I am not loving it. And it is one of the only ones where we actually know who did it. But I've seen her other work, and her other work on Instagram is amazing. So I don't know what went wrong with this, but I just don't like it. It's not, I'm not saying that it's an awful piece of art. It's just, if I had all the books in a big long row, this would be last. And this one would be first. Of course, because it's amazing. It has the most detail on any of the covers that I've shown you for 2023. The most detail, because I don't know whether you can see, but like down here there's like a ghostly face. Here her hair's all bound up in these flowers. There's like two skeletons of birds up here. There's the stars, the moon. It's all creepy and gothic and ethereal, and the cover is amazing. And the more that you turn it from the light like this, the more beautiful it looks, because I can see it on the camera. But oh, I just love it. So we have the worst naked hardcover, and my choice for the worst naked hardcover is And Break the Pretty Kings. Because it's a dragon. It's boring. I'm sure there are plenty of other things in this book that you could have chosen. Why is it always a dragon? It's boring and it's lazy. Now, the best naked hardcover is The Library of Broken Worlds. The book with the worst dust jacket has the best foil hardcover. I love it. Every inch is used to perfection. It is the same artwork that is on the cover, but it's done a lot better. If the front cover looked like this, using this in the middle and the title up here and things happening, it would not have been the worst cover. But the foiling, beautiful. The best one of the year. So now we're on to the worst end papers, and like I said, the Locked Library really don't do, or didn't do this year, much in the way of internal end paper artwork. So the worst artwork is The Library of Broken Worlds, simply for being a whole lot of white nothingness. You can't really get worse than being blank, can you? But the one with the best internal artwork, even though it is dragons, it is And Break Pretty Kings. Just because, yes, it's dragons again, but out of all the rest, because most of the other ones are either blank or just block colours and lazy, this one actually has artwork filling the double pages. So we're on to the pinnacle of special book box edition books, and that is the sprayed edges. So for me, the worst sprayed edges are that. These are the sprayed edges of every exquisite thing, and they are just, it's like wallpaper. I don't like it. It's just blurry, a mishmash of just colours, and I'm not keen. Now, in contrast to that, the best sprayed edges of 2023 is the book that was right next to it. The Kingdom is a Golden Cage. I don't like the cover, but the sprayed edges, love them. Love them a lot. They're beautiful, they pop, they're not blurry, they're just really, really rich in colours and just beautiful to look at. Now, usually in videos this would be where I rank what I have read. Now, as I stated at the beginning of the video, I haven't read any of these ones yet. So, I want to know what you think at home. Have you read any of these? Do you have any of these from the subscription? What is your favourite dust jacket? Your favourite sprayed edges? Let me know what you think of every single book, or the ones that you particularly liked, or the ones that you particularly didn't like. Let me know in the comments down below. Remember to like and remember to click that subscribe button, because every click of that subscribe button is one tear that I don't cry. I lie, I have no feelings at all.
Castles glimmer on the hill, echoes of a life fulfilled. With the dawn, new hope is born. In this heart no longer torn. Sip the wine, embrace the night. Dark stars journey shining bright. Through the trials, through the pain, love and light shall still remain.